Welcome, everyone, to Christiana's Psychic Cafe. It is so great to have you with us, and we have a fabulous show for you today. We're going to be talking about your metaphysical business and how to catapult it into success. So let me bring on my guests right now. I have a fabulous panel of metaphysical business people. I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves. Let's start with Amethyst Mahoney. Hi, Amethyst. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. How are you doing?
Terrific. Thanks so much for being here. Tell us about yourself.
My name is Amethyst Mahoney, and I run a little tiny company called Spiritual Badass. We're in 165 countries now. Yay! So I'm really excited about that. I started out as a tarot reader, just a tarot reader, and I kind of moved into a lot of business coaching from there, and I do hand analysis and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So it's all about how to figure out what your purpose is and then turn that into a business that makes you money. And I'm at www.amethystmahoney.com, and if you can't spell that because it's kind of weird, beaspiritualbadass.com will direct you to it.
Perfect, perfect. And again, thanks for being here. Gary Karp, it's your turn. Tell us about you.
Hello, I'm Gary Karp. I am the owner of Permission Granted Authentic Life Coaching. I am a one-to-one and a one-to-many group coach that teaches people and coaches people on how to be their authentic selves. I basically believe that we spend so much time trying to be the perfect husband, perfect wife, perfect boyfriend, perfect girlfriend, perfect partner, perfect son, daughter, whatever, that we haven't taken the time to really be the perfect us and honor who we are. And we live all of our lives trying to please other people and end up being miserable when we should be happy. So what I do through coaching and workshops and seminars is help people get to know their authentic selves and honor it through congruent action. I also started out, as Amethyst did, as a tarot reader. Just a tarot reader.
And how do people get in touch with you, Gary?
Well, right now, still waiting for my website to go live. We're having some technical issues on that, but hopefully the next month or two it'll go live. So up until then, they can find me on Facebook at www.facebook.com/permissiongrantedbiz.
Okay, perfect. Now, originally we were going to be a foursome instead of a three-way. I had asked Jenna Matlin to join us, and in fact, it was something she said the last time we did a panel to talk about business, something she said that made me say, hey, let's do this. What she said was she was talking about her experience with Living Social and how that was a catapult for her career. And I thought, oh, a catapult. How do we catapult our careers? That's really cool. Well, it turned out she couldn't be with us this weekend because she's out right now catapulting her career. We just saw her on Facebook. She had just finished a weekend expo where she kicked some ass. So good for you, Jenna. But I wanted to start out the show talking about her experience on Living Social. So I asked her to put together a short video just talking about that. So let's go to that video now and see how Living Social worked for Jenna Matlin.
Hi everybody, it's Jenna from Queen of Wands Tarot. I'm so sad to not be able to make the panel tonight with you, but I am away doing tarot readings at a conference. So I will be here in spirit and I will be here in this YouTube video. So Christiana asked me to talk about how I used Living Social as a means to get to the next step of my business. So I was in business full-time, kind of unofficially for about 5 months. And it was a quiet summer, as you would expect a new business. People don't know about you. You're setting everything up. You're trying to get the word out there. You're doing festivals. But Living Social literally catapulted me from doing like maybe 5 hours a week to easily doing, between 12 to 15 hours a week. That continued after that initial deal. And I ran a total of 3 deals with Living Social before I parted ways with the company. So what's good about Living Social? Living Social is really great if you're looking at it from a marketing standpoint. You're not going to make much money, and don't even think about the money that you're not really making running the deals through Living Social. But what you want to do is you want to think about the huge, everyone knows who you are now. You have over 30,000 people that saw the deal in their inbox at least, depending on the geolocation you've agreed to run the deal on. I saw in the first 3 days of my first deal, my deal that I ran was only 3 days. I was the first tarot card reader in the greater Philadelphia metro area to have been run by any of the companies. So it was a first. And with those first 3 deals, I had 183 purchases. So my website went from, around 200 views, give or take, a day, to well over 1,500 views every single day that deal was running. And beyond just the deal, I had people emailing me wanting longer readings, which I was able to book them for. I had people bring their friends to me. I had a referral system in place. So in terms of really increasing your capacity, it can be a wonderful addition to the marketing plan that you already have going on. Please excuse any noises from my cat. She wants to play. So when you contact Living Social, you have to be really cognizant about the kind of deal you're capable of giving and sustaining. A lot of people really overshoot the amount of deals that they sell, and they kind of underprice themselves, or they don't think about how to upsell the client with any other packages. And so they end up exhausted, tired, burnt out, and they hate Living Social, and it sucks, 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 sucks. So there's a lot of small businesses that maybe didn't do all of their homework before running the deal. So please look at what your capacity is. How many people can you feasibly read in a week? How many clients do you currently have that would have to be folded in with that new inrush of people? These are all considerations that are going to go into the negotiations by Living Social. You're not going to make any money. So for example, if your half-an-hour readings are $50, Living Social will want you to run them at $25, 50% off, right? So that means people will sign up. Wow, look at the incredible deal I'm getting. Living Social takes another 50% off of that. So you're really only getting like $12 per person for a half-an-hour reading. That does not include the credit card charges for like running all the credit cards, because you have to pay that as well, not Living Social. So if you think about kind of the money issue behind it, it's going to make you wackadoodle. So don't do it. Don't think about that. You're thinking about all of the people who now know who you are. They're seeing you. If they call you, you can say, hey, I'll give you the other half an hour for the same price. That's what I did, and that really helped me recoup some of the loss. Also, once you have, make sure that you have a really firm cancellation date. Like if they don't redeem by this date, then they no longer get the deal. Because what happens too is that you get a lot of people who won't redeem the deal in time or never show up. So then that's really free money in your pocket. So it's not as bad as a lot of people crow about online when they complain about how rapacious Living Social is. So I ran them several times. I was really careful about my cap. The thing that you need to do, some of the pre-work that goes into before running your Living Social deal, is get your website looking beautiful, because everyone is going to be looking on your website. Everyone's going to be checking you out. Make sure all your links work. Make everything work. You want to look real streamlined, real professional. When I first started my Living Social, I didn't actually have an office. I was like trying to find one, so I had people coming to my personal home as well as I was driving out to people. So that's the other consideration, is what's your tolerance for, you know, high volume readings, and what's your tolerance, and what are you capable of actually scheduling people in for a week. Because the one thing I do know about Living Social people is that you get this initial rush at the very beginning, and they all want readings right now. And I would not recommend anything greater than a 2-week wait time, because if it gets too late, they complain to Living Social and they get a refund. So think about your pricing. Also think about the cap of the deal, like, you know, which you can negotiate with Living Social. Finally, look at the fine print. The fine print is going to save your keister should there be any weird loopholes. And if there are loopholes, trust me, Living Social customers will find them. They did with me. So don't be afraid to use the fine print to really craft the deal to be what it is. So for example, my fine print, which I learned over time, was this offer is not available to, you know, returning clients. So this is really only for new customers. No parties, because in the beginning when I was driving around, what was happening is I have 6 or 7 ladies all purchase the deal together and then have me come to their birthday party. So, which means I was driving there, working back to back for hours and driving home, making like no money, and they wouldn't even tip me. So, you know, if you don't want to do parties, say no parties. Maybe take a look at other Living Social tarot deals that are running and look at their fine print. What are they doing? What are they not doing? What makes sense for you? Living Social is not your friend. Living Social is your business partner. And so their goal is to craft as good as a deal as possible for their customers. And their customers are Living Social customers. Even if that puts you out of business, they're not going to say, whoa, friend, this is a crazy good deal. Are you sure about running this crazy good deal? It looks like this could hurt your business. They're not going to say that. They're going to run as much as they possibly can. It's going to have to be you that's putting the brakes at every stop of the way, really fine-combing the print, fine-combing the deal, making sure everyone is clear on all the parameters of the deal. You are in control of this whole process if you let it be. Finally, the clients. I would have to say that I have a pretty high return rate from my Living Social clients. Return refer rate, it's pretty good, and it's higher than average. The trick is that you just have to give them an amazing experience. The thing that I've noticed, however, is that Living Social clients are people who like deals. So the people that purchase my deals, usually moving forward, are the people who were my Living Social clients, which is like it's fine, it's not bad or anything, but it's just something to consider if you have maybe higher rates and then you do lots of promotional stuff that will really work with this demographic of your customers. Lastly, so while things worked really well with Living Social and I in the beginning, I ended up having to part ways with them. And that is because they started running known con artists in my area. And they continued to run them even though I and several clients did email them to indicate that these people were trying to request $600, $6,000, $1,000 by trying to upsell them with curse removal candles and whatnot. At that point, I felt that why I was using Living Social was, number one, to help my business, but also, two, to normalize the process of tarot and make it feel it's something really open and helpful and beautiful, and I know you know that, right? But a lot of people don't. And so when Living Social started running these people, I decided that not only were they hurting clients by letting them engage with these kind of people, it was also hurting my business and hurting the stereotype of our business. So I decided not to run with them. Clients, I think they believe that there is some kind of vetting process via Living Social or Groupon, that maybe like someone came out and checked us out and we're good and that's why they're running us. But that's not the case. They'll run anyone that they think looks good enough, and they're going to, it comes down to the cha-ching, the bottom line. If it's going to make them money, they're going to move on it. So that's why I decided to primarily stop running with Living Social. And at this point in my business, I would not be able to accommodate the influx of numbers like I did in the beginning. So I feel like Living Social is really good if you're ramping up your client base, and or two, if you have very known dead times in your year that you can kind of wiggle it in to get more people in, or there's some kind of lull. So that's kind of the nitty-gritty. I could spend an hour talking about this with you, but I know you guys have the rest of the panel. So have a wonderful night, and I can't wait to catch up with this later, and thank you for having me, and happy taroting, everybody. Bye-bye. Hi, everybody.
Welcome back, everyone. And Jenna Matlin, thank you so much. Drive safely on your way home from your gig. Really appreciate your participating today. I'm going to go right now to Amethyst Mahoney and say, what do you think? Jenna shared her experience on Living Social. Do you have any comments on that? Or do you have experience with these kinds of things? Talk to us.
Yes, so that was a really great video and a really good example of how you can use Living Social in one way to catapult your business. My experience is a little bit different, and I actually have two big areas where I don't know if I should say disagree with Jenna, but just some pointers of other ways that you might want to approach if you're going to do your Living Social deal. I've done two now, and the first one I sold, I think it was like 90-something total tarot readings, and they were, gosh, $30 each, so I got 15. I turned that into over $5,000. The other one I did not as well, but still made a few $1,000s off of it. So the first thing that I really want to say is that you really, and I put this in my group, I said, what's the one thing you absolutely must have if you're going to consider a deal? It's you must have a way to make more money after the initial deal to recoup your losses. Just relying on it for traffic and for continued people, I mean, that's a good first step, but there's so much more you can do and so much more money you're leaving on the table, and you know, just not helping clients as much as you could, because people can always go deeper with more time and more you know, readings and more things with you. So what I like to do is, you know, when I do a tarot reading with someone from a Living Social deal, in the beginning, way back, my first package was $597 for, it was 6 sessions or 6 weeks, but it was like an Awaken Your Divine Power with Tarot deal, where we actually went really deep into that, into all areas of that person's life, and I sold it as a package. You know, great, here's your reading today, but what are the challenges that you're having now, and where would you like to go further with this? You know, subsequent deals, I've actually been able to sell a couple $1,000 packages and gotten people on my list who later bought, you know, even more thousands of dollars packages. So it's especially, you know, if you know specifically what you do. Okay, if you're just saying, I do tarot readings and would you like to buy 5 or 6 more of them as a package, that really doesn't work well as, you know, thinking of a way you can discuss it in their terms. So I know Gary sells packages now. I have tons of packages. I have a membership site that I, you know, let people come into, things like that. The other really big issue I have is warning people that you should worry about a 2-week period for as far as getting all the deals in. Look, my page says right there, I'm booked out 4 to 6 months in advance. So if you buy this, you better get your ass on my time trade appointment calendar like now. And that's just the way I run. There's this idea in the metaphysical and tarot communities especially that someone pays you, or you don't even accept their money first, you just book an appointment and they pay you after. And that's a big no-no in my book. So you set the boundaries and you tell people, you know, I book out. So you're going to have to do this. I give you the dates that I have available and you go choose one that works for you. And also, I don't work on nights and weekends very rarely. unless I'm working with like my Australian clients, because 6 p.m. my time is 8 a.m. the next day for them. So that's just a time zone thing. But don't let other people run your business, and don't worry about, oh my God, I have to get to them in a week or two. That's just, no.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
I agree wholeheartedly with Amethyst with what she said. You have to run your business. You cannot let your business run you. Before I get to the living social and the Groupons and all that kind of stuff, I've had to sit there and really train my clients, because they would call at 10 o'clock at night. They would call at 5:30 in the morning. They would call on Sunday. And you basically have to say, no, this is when I'm doing business. And that, more than anything else, is the most important thing about catapulting your metaphysical business, is to look at it not as a metaphysical business. It's simply a small business. You're just like any other entrepreneur. It's just that instead of doing crafts or opening a garage or whatever it is that you may be doing, a tax service, you're reading tarot cards. You're giving Reiki healings. You're giving coaching opportunities.
I completely disagree. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I look at as you have to look at it as a regular business, and Amethyst is sitting there. No, okay, I am so much in the minority here, so we'll shelf that and let's go on to the group.
No, I was saying, say no. Gary's right.
I have worked personally not with Living Social or Groupon, but I went to Yelp for mine, and I found that for me it did not work. Now, listening to Jenna's video and listening to Amethyst has inspired me to revisit it and do it a different way, because initially I was just looking for that first hit, that give me the money now so I can get them doing the work done, and not looking to grow the business in the future when I first approached it. So both Amethyst and Jenna has given me a brand new view on it, and I may come back and try it. Now we can go, and Christiana, you can tell me why I'm wrong.
First of all, I am so thrilled that you're going to revisit it. That what Amethyst and Jenna said gave you the idea to revisit it, because that's exactly what we're here to do today, and that's great. And no, it's only one small thing. But when you say a metaphysical business is just a business, on the level that, yes, it's a business, and you can build, like any entrepreneur, you can build for yourself the business that works for you. Absolutely, yes. But I take umbrage at saying that a metaphysical business is just a business, because what we have behind us is not only the ability to use the business tools that every other business has. We got mojo. We got magical tools.
Okay.
And that's part of our catapult too, Dan.
Yes, I will agree with that, 100%. I agree with the mojo moving forward, because there's a passion and a calling, for lack of a better word, that we all have. And that's why we're doing this rather than selling tax packages. That I agree with you. I find when I'm talking with people about metaphysical businesses, whether it's my fellow coaches or whether it's tarot people, they have this woo-woo fascination that allows them to ignore the business end. It's almost like they bought the law of attraction and the Joseph Campbell follow your bliss, but they've missed the important point. Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. Yes, he did. He never said following your bliss is going to make you money. As a matter of fact, what he did say is if you give up your bliss to follow money, you will lose your life. But if you stay in the center and keep your bliss, you may not get the money, but you will always be happy and satisfied. And I think somewhere in the LOA community, in the metaphysical community, that statement of follow your bliss has gotten co-opted and twisted to think, well, all I have to do is follow what I love, whether it's reading tarot cards or dancing or poetry or candle making, and automatically people will find me and I will become a success and have an abundance of money. And that's what I'm talking about when I say you have to look at it as a business.
I think we all, I mean, I see Amethyst nodding too. Do we all agree with that?
There's a caveat to that when you say, you know, if I follow my bliss, I'll make money. Actually, what I see in the metaphysical community is, if I follow my bliss, I'll just be taken care of because God forbid I make any money. Oh my God, that's just
That's another one. That one's this
crazy.
idea that because we are supposed to be spiritual and we're supposed to be holier than thou, quote unquote, that we cannot make money. Okay? Two are not mutually exclusive.
Right.
And I think you've come up with a topic for the next time that we do a business discussion panel. That is a fabulous topic. I want to refocus us back to the catapult, but I would like to spend a whole hour with you guys in a month or two talking about our spiritual views about money and how we screw ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll be calling you about that. But let's go back to the concept of the catapult. And again, I'm sort of bringing back the gestalt of our conversation with Jenna when she said, I've been in business for a year. Living Social is what got me noticed. After doing Living Social, I was a known entity. So I want to hear some stories about becoming a known entity. At what point did you find yourself standing head and shoulders above the crowd? At what point did you have brand recognition? And can you identify, you know, and I'm sure we've had many catapults, but can you identify one that got you there? Amethyst.
So in the tarot community specifically, a couple of years ago, I decided to get some tarot readers together and do a Valentine's Day giveaway. And it was just, you know, free offers of their free books, but I put everybody on one page and I said, hey, everyone's gotten together to provide this great thing for you. Some of them gave direct access, which is something that I don't recommend you do. I actually recommend that if you do a giveaway, you have people go to your opt-in page. A lot of people watching this video will be like, what the hell are you talking about? Don't worry about it. Just come to my Spiritual Badass community. We'll explain it. Ninja marketing. Okay. But, you know, putting yourself with other people in your community who do it, that was huge for me. And I still have people every Valentine's Day. It's been, I think, 2 or 3 years now. Every Valentine's Day, I keyworded it as, I used tarot and I used Valentine's Day and a couple other keywords. Every Valentine's Day, I get a couple hundred people that opt into that page and find me. Every single Valentine's Day. So when you do that, you want to first of all hang out with other people in your field. I've also hosted telesummits and stuff like that, interviewed other speakers and everything like that, so that draws a lot of people to your list. I've gotten on other people's speaking platforms, so I'll be on Listapalooza again this year. But when you do that, people see all the other people out there who are successful, and it really makes them excited about it and like, oh my God, there are people out here that can do this. Even if it's not coaching. Seriously, that tarot giveaway, friggin' everybody loves it. So find, even if it's 4 or 5 people, you know, band together, make an event, and all of you promote it, and all of a sudden people are like, you're out there promoting with other successful entrepreneurs? Who the hell are you? I should pay attention. And they do.
And I love that. And I love that for a couple of reasons. Number one, yes, there is nothing like gathering together in a group and being that person that pulls the group together to put you head and shoulders above the group, number one, absolutely. And I love it that we can work together to our mutual benefit rather than being competitive. You know, one thing that unfortunately we see in our metaphysical business environment is a lot of
backstabbing nonsense.
I didn't say catfighting, but that works.
Or as Armin would say, heinous fuckery. Yeah, just really messed up stuff. And I think when you get people together to work together, that just sends such a positive message. I love that. The other thing I would say is what you've just described there is, you know, terrific ideas for people who are, you know, kind of really doing the online global thing, which is great. I think the same thing would work in concept for someone who was doing a local business, a local tarot office, a massage studio, something that really is hands-on and local. Same concept would work. And wonderful to put it around a holiday, something thematic.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Whoops. Well.
Yes, what Christiana said.
Lost Christiana, and hopefully we will get her back. My catapult moment, because I think she was going to come to me, so I'll just jump in and do this anyway. For me, it was the small moment when I walked into a store that I had been reading in. It was a metaphysical store up in New Paltz, and people started to look at me and recognize me for not just their local reader. And that was a direct result of me getting other reading opportunities in the city. I started to get known, and at the same time, I was hosting a hour-long metaphysical type talk show on Blog Talk Radio called Passionate Talk, which got me a lot of exposure, a lot of brand building, and I was able to promote myself and promote my events that I was going to be at throughout the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all the areas. And when people started to hear not only me being on the radio, because they're being on the radio that gets you up as a subject matter expert, whether you know what you're doing or you're just faking your way through it. The fact that and that's not taking anything away from anybody on this panel, we all know what we're doing, but it puts in the mind that you are the top dog, and that's the way you are perceived. So the radio show, coupled with being, doing the psychic fairs in and around New York, doing the Joseph Campbell Center up in Paltz, and reading at the Witches' Ball for Halloween down in New York City in Greenwich Village, and doing my regular stops that I always do, and having the Medusa Mystical Fair that I was reading at, all these things gave the brand the push, and people were seeing my names everywhere, and it started to happen that not only would people look at me and go, oh, wow, you're so successful, we always knew that you had it in you, but now people were coming to me and they were saying, hey, Gary, do you want to be part of this psychic fair? Are you free Saturday? Can you read for me and my family? Do you want to read at my barbecue? Do you want to be on the radio show? So the whole thing snowballed from that one catapult of just doing the radio show, building the brands, and pounding the pavement, and getting my own gigs that culminated in me being this success.
That is brilliant, Gary, and I have a couple of comments to that. One, when you say pounding the pavement, and whether you're pounding the physical pavement or the cyber pavement, pounding the pavement. I just had this recent experience with an online friend who had emailed me saying, she's a new reader, she's trying to get out there. I had given the suggestion that she try to get a place in a bar, a nightclub, a bookstore, a laundromat, who the heck cares, just get a place to read. Mm-hmm. And she'd been to 3 places and been turned down and was feeling sad. And she sent me 3. Right. And she sent me an email, and I tried to be nice about it, but I was like, Freddie, get back to me when you have 10 people say no, when you have 20 people say no. Go out there. Don't do that. Don't. I mean, what do you call it when you do that? It's like you're not even out of the gate, and you've already stopped the race. And so I paid for that pep talk, and she didn't. She went out. She went to all these different places. She finally found a nightclub whose manager was Wiccan, who was more than happy to have a weekly Tarot Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And that's her catapult. But sometimes you don't get the catapult unless you pound the pavement. And if someone says no, you ask another person, ask everyone until someone says yes, and don't take it personally.
I like liken it to the advice I was given in a former life of mine. I was training to be an actor. And my business of acting coach used to tell stories of the number one reason why people fail to make it in the acting world is they get their headshots done and they send their headshots out to one casting director for 1 month and then they do nothing. And that's not the way it works. And to extend the metaphor, it's the same way you have to work it to work your metaphysical business. You have to send that headshot. You have to pound that pavement. You have to go to every single store. You have to go to everyone who's got a teleseminar, who's running a teleseminar, and say, hey, I can help you. I want to do this. Give me a chance. Every single day, every single month, and you don't stop. And in a lot of ways, being a small businessman, an entrepreneur, and being an actor, you need thick skin. It's not for the thin-skinned people, because you're going to be turned down more than you are going to be accepted. Think of yourself as the ugliest guy, and you have to go up and ask each one of them for a date. Okay?
I love that.
That's the perfect example, and no, it did not come from my life, truly. No. Maybe once in college, but that's enough. And that's really what it's like, because you're going to have to ask 100 people, 300 people, go to the stores over and over and over again before you get someone who's going to say yes to you.
I completely agree. And here's the other thing that I liked is you talked about having your name show up in many places. And I'm interested, I'm going to ask Amethyst what she thinks about this. But I have always had this rule of 3. I mean, okay, I know we have like the Wiccan rule of 3 and all of that, but I have a business rule of 3. For someone to, well, it used to be for someone to pick up the phone and call me. Now it's for someone to Facebook me, email me, text me, Skype me, however they do it. You can do it any way you want. But for someone to do that, they have to hear my name 3 times. And so my goal is to get my name out there that many times at least, so every person hears my name 3 times. That was the theory I was worked with. It sounds like that theory works for you, Gary. What do you think, Amethyst? True, false?
More like 9 to 12. I like Gary's approach much better. And what happens, one of my business coaches actually talked about this. I'll draw it real quick. She said your business and marketing your business is like a wheel. Well, I can't draw a circle, but anyway, imagine a wheel, right? How many spokes? Shut the hell up, Gary. Can I flip people off on Skype on your show? You're number 1.
I love
so,
you.
Anyway, you've got a wheel or a piece of pie, Gary, and how many spokes do you want holding up your wheel? Do you want 3? Or do you want 9, 12, or 15? Because what happens is the moment that you take one of those away, say, the nightclub where the Wiccan guy is closes down. What else do you have out there supporting your business? You're nothing. You're fucked. Excuse my language, but you are screwed. So I like to get out there in as many places as possible. And, it really reminded me, too, of we're talking about catapulting our business, but it really is about all of the little pieces that you put into place that often lead to that big moment. So like for Gary, you think of the Blog Talk Radio show was your catapult, but really it was the fact that you did that every single week and it built upon itself. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was a catapult, but it was, daily or weekly actions that you took. I've heard stories. A friend of mine has a really good friend who recently got on like Oprah's Sunday thingy, right? Yeah, which we think, oh my God, she's made it. She thought that was going to be her big catapult, and actually her book sales and everything else did not go up or anything. She got a very few trickle from that thing. However, she has used that to actually now get local gigs, local TV shows and radio shows, and those are the things that have really catapulted her business.
So a catapult can catapult a catapult.
Yeah. And so some things, like Jenna was saying on Living Social, you do it to get your name out there. I will do things sometimes that I'm like, this is not going to make me $3, but I know that I can then say, I did that, and that is going to give me respect and open doors
and
in a different way.
To piggyback on what Amethyst said, because it's very important, her friend got on Oprah's Sunday evening conversation show, I'm guessing, and in her mind she probably went, wow, this is going to catapult my book because of Oprah's book club and the exposure I'm going to get from Oprah, and it didn't. But what she was able to do was now then turn around. She didn't fail. She looked at it and said, how else could I use this?
Yeah.
And she turned around to the local TV and the local media and said, I was on Oprah. And that's a big selling point because she became a local celebrity that she used to her advantage. And that's also a very important thing about your catapults is you decide what they're going to be. Just because it doesn't work one way, use it to your advantage. And that's a perfect example of what Amethyst just said about her friend.
And, you know, and that actually even goes back to the concept of metaphysical thinking. And here's a whole other topic for a panel we should do sometime is how is the law of attraction really helpful in business and how is it totally misunderstood and a bunch of crap. But
we can sit here for weeks.
Excuse me, but
Put it away. No, okay, I'll calm down.
Kelly's gonna put a spell on me like a negative curse tonight.
I think that metaphysically, okay, let's think about this from a metaphysical perspective, from an energetic perspective, from a law of attraction perspective. You get a great big break, and you think, and your friends think, and everyone thinks, oh my gosh, you've arrived, you're here, you're now Oprah's best buddy, whatever, and your sales don't increase, your money doesn't increase. Do you say, oh my gosh, I blew my big break? Or do you say, I was on freaking Oprah, I'm going to use this? And obviously that's what this person did. But, you know, as much as on one hand that's business smarts, on the other hand, it's magical smarts too, you know, because that's how magic works, really. So I think that is just brilliant. So now next question. When we talk about the things that don't work, and okay, using the example of Amethyst's friend.
Amethyst knows how to feel about the author of the book, which is why she keeps putting it up there.
Using the example of Amethyst's friend, who did not apparently see that as a failure in the long run because she turned it around. I'm sure we all have those experiences in our background. But has there ever been a thing that you did that you put a lot of energy into, time, money, thought, whatever, that you thought was going to be the shizzle that really wasn't that at all, that really turned into a zero? Amethyst, tell a story.
Oh, God. So I went to, Body, Mind, Spirit expos are all the rage, right? Really, in a lot of cities, they're highly regarded. If you can get a speaking spot there, people just look at you like, oh my God, you're so amazing. So I did one that was supposed to have something like 180, 200,000 people come through in Portland. This was several years ago. And so I spent close to by the time I bought everything I needed to set up, because I really hadn't done any fairs or shows like traveling. It was almost 2 hours away from my house. So I had to buy, table and chair and materials and, covers and everything to cover the table. All my supplies, printed out a whole bunch of stuff, paid for my space, which is, at BSM, those are not cheap at all, or BMS or BS or whatever it is. Not cheap. The Portland one totally is. And then I had to actually drive up there, so gas, plus paying for the hotel to stay there all weekend, plus paying for parking at the event, plus food away from home and everything else. So I spent around $1,100 for this weekend. And it sucked so much big donkey balls that I can't even begin to tell you. There was no crowd, no anything. The people that came through, it was just really, I think I just spit on myself. It was just really weird. I don't know. There was something weird about the whole weekend. I did my talk. It went over okay. I got a few people signed up to my list. I made $27.
Okay.
Out of my 1,100. Not really any repeat clients. Now, granted, this was before I really knew how to sell packages very confidently, but I was trying to sell packages as well through my workshop. I was letting people know they could work with me and everything. And basically, I sold a deck of tarot cards. And the lady who bought them was pissed. God, I'm so spitty. Apparently, the Body, Mind, Spirit Expo makes me spit really bad because I'm just so angry about it. I'm very bitter. The lady who bought it bitched me out for not discounting it to half off. And I was like, it's wrapped in the box. I bought it straight from Amazon. I'm selling it to you at cost. So really, I didn't make $27. I just recovered $27 I had spent about 6 months ago. Like, I just wanted to strangle the people there. And then we were all standing around talking about how, you know, the event wasn't what they advertised, basically. And I bitched them up one end and down the other and said they owed me a refund and all this stuff because they completely tell me 200,000 people are going to be there. I expect at least 20,000. I expect 10% of what you advertised, because I think that that's fair. We didn't even have 2,000. So for me to invest $1,100 in an event and only have, there was like several hundred people came through, is ridiculous and false advertising, and I hate them very much.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, they suck. The Portland one sucks. So when people ask me, you know, should I do Body, Mind, Spirit? I'm going to Chicago or whatever. I'm like, screw those people. I hate them. So if anybody has better experiences in different cities, then, you know, you should check that out. But don't ever go to the Portland one. They suck.
Okay. And what's the feedback on that? I mean, is there a lesson from that except sometimes you put a lot of money and energy into a show that will suck? I mean, is that the takeaway? Is the takeaway just don't do those? What's the takeaway?
I should have found people who were actually doing it already, because, you know, we're in such a social media world now, and this was several years ago, and I wasn't internet savvy, but you better get internet savvy, because those Body, Mind, Spirit has their own website, they have their own Facebook pages. You could actually go into their page and say, hey, what's everybody's experience here? Everybody in Portland, after I invested all this money, turned around and said, yeah, the event's gotten really crappy the last couple of years. I'm probably not going to do it anymore. This is my last year. Had I known that...
Yeah, so do your research. That's your takeaway. Do your research. Okay, good. Good. Gary, do you have an experience to share that didn't go as you would have liked?
Unfortunately, but I will at least be able to teach with my mistakes, which is a good thing. This is what I'm here for.
Good.
First workshop I ever put on, this was a couple of years ago, and I decided I was going to do a workshop, and I had the radio show going, and I had the tarot stuff going, and I was known, and I had followers, and people were kissing my ass, so I figured I was big, at least big enough where with the mailing list that I had and the contact list and the numbers I was pulling from the radio show and the people telling me I was great, I'd be able to put together a workshop, not a problem. So I went and I spent 6 to 8 weeks putting together the materials, printing up the workbooks, and doing everything, couple of $1,000 putting everything together, renting the room at Ripley Greer Studios and booking it. And since it was my first time I was doing it, you got to put the money up front the first time you rent at this location. So, and it's got to be cash. You can't put a card.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. The ones in New York City, first time you do it, they want cash. They don't take credit. So you pay for everything, and I advertised it, and one person showed up. And that was my buddy who I dragged kicking and screaming, okay? So I ended up doing a workshop to one person, okay? That was absolutely awful. It did teach me a lot of things, though, which the takeaway, as you say. Number one, don't buy your own bullshit. I mean, that's rule number one. No matter how great people believe you're being, you got to stay humble to yourself. Otherwise, you're going to walk into a room of empty people, empty chairs. So that's number one. Secondly, take more time to really plan and market it, because I was just sitting there under the idea of, hey, people know me from the radio show. I'm great. I have all these followers. All I have to do is say, hey, I have a workshop coming up this Saturday. Be there. And that's it. I don't have to do any planning. I don't have to do any marketing. I learned a whole bunch about how to put on a workshop, how to market it, and more importantly, how to protect my own assets, or part thereof, when I'm doing it. So I don't get taken to the cleaners if I can't sell the room out. Okay? So a lot of it is in the research and the planning, development, and the marketing. You've got to have a marketing plan. And by extension, now when I do workshops, even if it's the same workshop that I do over and over and over, my goal-setting workshop is extremely popular, my Your Future Now goal-setting workshop, I normally get 30, 50 people, which for me is perfect because that's what the room holds. I may have to look to get a larger room or, God forbid, do a hotel because I want to stay away from those. To do the next one, but it's all built from that one experience where I walked in and the only person looking back at me was my buddy, and he's going, look, I got a 7:45 train to catch to get home. I got to catch NCIS. What's going on? So that was my bad experience.
Yeah, you know, I have a very similar story to that, which I won't tell in the interest of time because you just told that story. I'm going to tell a story of the opposite problem. And this goes back to what Jenna and Amethyst both said about the group deals, the living social deals. Make sure you've got, you know, your ducks in a row to profit from this. So I put together a workshop to which I expected 5 people to attend. Many, 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 many more than that did. Oh. So, awesome, right? That's good. Now, the room was too small. We worked with that. We worked with everything. It was in good spirits. It was awesome. There was singing and crying and laughing, and it was like a fabulous workshop, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm on my way. But do you know what I didn't have? I had nothing to give them for a follow-through. No schedule of events. No thing to sign up for. Nothing to sell them. Nothing to give them. No way to catapult from this amazing piece of success because I didn't pay attention because I figured 5 of my closest friends would show up and would have a nice night and that would be that. So I screwed myself by not paying attention the way I should have. So,
I have a quick live event story, real super quick. So I did my first weekend live event, not just a workshop, but the whole weekend deal where I rented the hotel room and did all of that stuff. And I just thought it was going to be great because everybody was telling me they were going to show up and all this stuff, but they hadn't paid. But I thought for sure they were going to pay and show up like they said. And anyway, it came time for the event. A couple days before the event, I was lucky they let me reduce the room size because I had gotten a big room in anticipation. And so they let me reduce it, and they gave me a partial break on my money, which was great. But so come the weekend of the event, I had, you know, like 4 or 5 people there live, whatever it was. But we live streamed at the last minute. I was like, screw this, I'm going to live stream people in. So I had a couple people pay for that. So anyway, it ended up being like 11 or 12 people total. There and there, but not there, right? I sold over $22,000 that weekend.
wow.
So that's kind of, if you combine both your stories, like that's how it would look.
Right. And so, you know, when we look at these, you know, we're coming to the end of our time together, so I want to try to tie things up a little bit. So what do we learn? Whether you're entirely online or well, no one's entirely in person anymore. If you're entirely in person, you have a problem. You need to be marketing online, even if your business is local. You know, end of, am I right? End of story?
Oh, yeah.
Right. Okay. But the same principles will work regardless of the nature of your business. Yes?
Yes.
The group buying deals are something to look at, but you have to do it right. It's not worth your time and energy if you don't do it right. Right?
Correct.
On that?
You also have to use it as an upsell. You can't just sell to get that initial in the pocket and believe they're going to be coming back. You have to have an upsell for a package or a product or a service or something. Upsell is really the name of the game when you're talking catapult.
Now, yes, but I will say that when we talk about upsell, and I do completely agree. As I said, I screwed up because I had nothing to give them. But I am sometimes willing to have my upsell not be a thing that you're going to give me money for right now, but a relationship that we are now developing.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. The upsell doesn't have to a product. It could be a free download. It could be a thank you gift bag that has a coupon if you choose to use it for 25% off your next purchase.
Right.
It doesn't have to be cash in hand at that moment.
I agree.
I totally disagree.
Okay,
I say you should always offer the upsell. Why would you not just offer? Not bully them, not say I've got to remove a curse or something, but say, hey, if you're interested now or in the future, I do want to let you know that these other things are available to you, because I will not tell you the number of times I've had people come to me and say, I would have bought this a year ago. I had no clue that you offered this. So if you're, yes, I want the relationship, and that is the main thing, but why not say, by the way, I've got this other shit.
Well,
and it's awesome.
Honestly, I mean, I have a rap that sort of always, I mean, when you meet me, you know what the shit is that I have for you. And so, yeah, and I think on some level, and maybe that's the baby catapult. Maybe everything is a catapult of varying sizes, you know? But maybe that's the baby catapult every time we meet someone, is making sure that they get what it is that we do.
Right.
Worst thing that you can say to me is, you know, I'd really like my friend to have a reading with you. Do you mind if I give them your phone number?
Here.
I mean, I appreciate the referral. That's not the bad part.
Right.
But yeah, if you have the idea that I might mind if someone has my phone number, I've done my job badly. You know?
Always, Amethyst is right in that regard. You always have to be, here's my other products and services. You always have to lay it out there. Not on a hard sell, just here it is, and that's what we have. When I talk about upsell and not wanting to be pushy, there's a tendency sometimes when you go to an event specifically that it's the person not only captures your information, but tries to sell you on every CD and every book and everything that's there. Whether if you just lay it out on the table and show them, yes, this is the products I have. If you're interested, let me know and I'll talk to you about them. And also throw in the goodie bag that you give to the person. If you do that, a coupon for a percentage off and a list of the services you offer, and maybe a free CD or whatever. That is there. That also works. I don't think there's a wrong way. The only wrong way is to not do it.
Do you agree, Amethyst?
The only wrong way is to tell people you're going to die and never be successful if you don't do this. But yeah, I mean, you know, I look at it as my business is like a buffet, and maybe you want the dessert today, maybe you want the salad, but you need to know that I have both.
Right? Right.
That doesn't mean I'm going to, you know, cram it down your throat or say you have to go 5 return trips.
It's funny because as Amethyst looks at hers as a buffet, I look at mine as a toolbox. I've got a toolbox of stuff that I can help you with, whether it's tarot, whether it's hypnosis, whether it's meditation, whether it's NLP, whether it's coaching, whether it's just a shoulder to cry on and I'm going to be a virtual bartender. Whatever it is, I can help you. Here's what I got in the bag. Pick one. but you've got to look in the bag in order to figure out what you want.
Right, right. Wow, well, I can't believe it. We are at the end of our time together. I want to thank you guys so much for doing this. As I said, I think this is going to be a regular thing on the cafe. We get really good feedback for it. Lots of people are building their businesses right now, and we've been out there. We've been doing it for a while, so we'll be back to talk about more stuff. Before we say goodnight, though, okay, here's what I want from. We'll do it for each of us. We'll go Amethyst, Gary, and then me. I want to hear one succinct piece of business advice that we might not have touched on here today. Or, if you can't think of that, reiterate what you think is the most important point. And once again, give us your website so we know how to get in touch with you. Amethyst, go.
I think doing what you're interested in the way that you want to do it is really important. Right now I'm actually, and I was really worried about bringing it out, but I've received so much positive feedback. I'm actually doing a 30-day prayer challenge right now.
Nice.
And I'm calling it specifically a prayer challenge because thankfully some new studies have come out saying that, you know, if you pray in a certain way, it's actually just this, it activates your brain just like meditation does, which is something that I've been saying for decades because I was a big prayer. And meditation just doesn't do it for me, so now I don't have to worry about it. So we're going to be talking about different types of prayer on, you know, that the way I always prayed naturally as a child was basically you could call it candle magic or, you know, meditation or something like that.
Right.
A couple people did get pissed off and say I was being too gaudy and, you know, whatever. But it's something that I'm just really happy about, and I'm happy that I can finally say God again. I don't have to say, I mean, I do, but I don't have to be like, or goddess, or divine spirit, or this, or that, you know, like, I'm just so tired of trying to please everybody that I'm just going to start doing it my way. And the people who want to come along with that, which is the majority of my people, plus a bunch of new ones, which is really exciting, then that's fine. And the people who are, I try to remind people, like, this is, when we're spiraling, we always spiral on, like, this vibrational level in our businesses and in our lives. So as you go up the spiral or raise your vibration or change it in different ways, you're going to be interested in different topics. And so don't be afraid to throw those out there for people and try it. And you might really be surprised. I got 2 emails back the same day that I sent that out that said, you know, I was just sitting here completely desperate thinking about praying and thinking about how I shouldn't pray and I should meditate instead, and I just didn't know what to do, and your email popped up. So it's really awesome. And that's at amethystmahoney.com /power-of-prayer, but beaspiritualbadass.com. You can find me, stalk me on Facebook at Spiritual Badass. Look me up on the internet at Spiritual Badass. Nobody else uses that, so you will find me. You might see black hair, blonde hair, blue hair, or any other colors, but that's still me. Yeah. I wanted to wear my blue hair tonight. I couldn't find it. I'm so upset, but I like the purple.
It is a beautiful thing. Okay, Gary Karp, go. One piece of business advice, and how do we reach you?
One piece of business advice, really quick. 3 words: consistency, congruency, and flexibility. Okay? You need consistency. You need to keep doing it. You need to keep pounding that pavement. You need to keep going. And if you can't run through a brick wall, then drill your way over it, dig your way under it, climb your way over it, or blow the fuck up the wall. Okay? Just keep doing it. Congruency. You've got to be true to yourself, whoever that is. Whether you want to call it prayer or meditation or just zoning out with a glass of vodka, whatever you choose, as long as it's true to yourself, you've got to be that person. And flexibility. Your first way is not going to work. Your second way may not always work, nor your third, your fourth, or your fifth. Keep trying. The only people who don't succeed are those who give up. Those 3 words: consistency, congruency, flexibility. That's the key to success in everything. but especially and specifically in your metaphysical business. People can find me at Facebook at www.facebook.com/permissiongrantedbiz. They can follow me on Twitter at Passionate Talk, spelled just the way it sounds, one word. And hopefully in a couple of months, you can visit my website at www.permissiongranted.biz and pick up the book that hopefully will be releasing in 6 weeks, called Clarity is Power, the 5 steps to help you creating goals that will empower and inspire you, which I'm extremely excited about. And I thank you for letting me have that last plug.
Oh, gosh, no problem. And once the book is out, the website is up. Of course, we'll have you back because everyone's going to want to know about it.
Thank you.
Okay, and here's my final piece of business advice. I don't care how social media changes. I don't care how our ways of communication change. One thing you have to be able to do is this: write a good press release. Develop a relationship with the press. Yes, I get it. We all blog. We're all press. But it's not the same thing. Write press releases. Work with your local papers, TV stations, radio stations. It's not all internet. There is still old-fashioned media out there, and they still matter, and we still need to work with them. Yes, it's true. When I started my business, I submitted press releases that I typed on a typewriter, put in an envelope with a stamp, and mail. I don't do that anymore. But do I still write press releases? Damn straight, and it matters. Okay, I'm Christiana Gaudet. You can find me at tarotbychristiana.com. I want to remind everyone I have a free tarot webinar coming up this week. Tarotbychristiana.com will tell you all about it. We'll be back here next week at Christiana's Psychic Cafe. I've got a great show for you next week. It is not only Memorial Day weekend, but World Tarot Day. Woohoo! See you next week. Amethyst, Gary, Jenna, thank you so much. Have a great week.
Thank you.